So, welcome to Intro to CSD ILS System number 3. This particular video is going to talk about the projects and a little bit more detail on the lessons. So again, you're going to log in to iLearningSystem or the website at the beginning of the day. Remember to check your missing assignments, blah, blah, blah. Make sure that you don't get too far behind. ILS will email your parents if you get too far behind. So if you have several lessons that you haven't done, ILS is going to send an email to your parents showing the things that you've completed and showing a list of the assignments that you're behind in your current grade. And you'll notice that as you get behind, your grades will reflect it. Now that's very important to understand with the grades, that if an assignment is due today, so in other words, the lesson starts today, you should complete it today. If you don't complete it today, it will affect your grade. So you'll notice that, hey, I had an A yesterday, I have a B today. Well, there's a lesson due today. I haven't done it. Well, it shouldn't affect my grade until I do it. Well, ILS does. So it tells you, hey, this lesson is due today, you haven't done it, and it shows you what your grade is based on the fact that you haven't done it. Okay? So each morning, you really don't want to check your grade. You want to do today's assignment, and at the end of the day, check your grades, because your grades will be affected by lessons that you should complete today or prior to today. That's very important. Today we're going to go into projects, and we're going to talk a little bit about how projects work. So I'm going to go ahead and click the projects, and currently right now we're logged in as Walt Disney. You are going to notice that in the yearly projects, you do have an end of the year project, and you'll notice down here at the bottom it says yearly project due at the end of the year. Okay. Now, even though that date is the end of the year, January 31st, or December 31st, you need to be working on your personal project throughout the semester. Now, albeit you don't know how to write HTML code, CSS, so you're going to just work on it slowly, do some basic stuff at the beginning, and then start, really right now it's thinking about at the beginning of the year, what kind of website do I want to build? Okay. You're going to notice that every week or 2 weeks, you have a project due. Your first project is personal portfolio, and you're going to see that there's a second project that really doesn't start until October, and then the end of October, and you will see other projects appear randomly. Some projects we put up here because if you complete the portfolio and you get it graded, and you're okay with the grade, you can move on to work on, even though it's August or September, you can start working on October's project, or you can go ahead and work on November's project, or start working on your personal project. Projects are something you should be working on after you complete your lessons. So each day you come in, if there's a lesson due, you're going to work on that. If there's no lesson due, that's pretty much a makeup day and a project day, which means that you're going to go back and work on either retake lessons you've taken before, or work on the missing assignment lessons, or you jump to projects. So work on the project or work on the next project, okay? Let's click on the personal project, the first one that you're going to start really the second week, and it's a very simple project. And you will notice before I click there that you will have other units under projects possibly. So if you have an assignment that's missing and you don't see the lesson under this unit because you're in the personal yearly project Q1 unit, and you have 2 units. You can click over on the right to the other unit. So let's click on personal portfolio. When you come here, you're going to notice there's no concepts. That's because there's no questions. You have to build the project in Visual Studio. You have to run it on your website and then upload it to the server and send a teacher message to the teacher saying you completed your personal project. You need the teacher to come by and grade it. And they'll pull it up either on the server or they'll pull it up on your personal computer, and you will walk them through the project. Some of these projects, in fact, a lot of them, you're going to be graded on your presentation. So you're going to upload the project to the server, and then you're going to have a presentation day where you're going to present it to the class, and you're going to pull it up on the big screens, and you're going to walk the class through for this case, a personal portfolio, tell them how you built it, and show them what it looks like. And at that point, the teacher will grade you in ILS, and your grade will reflect that. So you're going to notice no concepts. Even if you go to the book, you're going to notice nothing. So there's nothing really in the book at all except just general overview instructions on what to do. Now, the overview instructions on what you need to do are here. This is what you need to build. You will get a video showing somebody else building a website, and he may walk you through how to do it so you can copy the video. You can go to YouTube and look up other videos and build something based on that, a little more complex. For those of you that are looking for minimalist, we give you sample code on each of these projects. That's sample code to begin with that you're going to add to. Okay. Link number 1 is usually a website. You can get to this from your iPhone or from your phone or from home. So if you're at home in iLearningSystem working on the project and you want to bring the code in on a USB drive, you can do it. But this is a website that actually shows you how to do this assignment. A lot of times you can click it and see if you can get to it at school. If you can't get to it, just close that tab down. Link 2 on this one is code on GitHub. So it's sample code to get you started. So it's very important with this code that you realize that you've got 2 files here. So you need to copy this code and you need to put it in 2 separate files. Every website has what's called an HTML page, and if it's a good website, it has a style sheet. And notice on line number 4, it has a reference to a style sheet called style.css. So the code for the style sheet is down here. It starts with body, and you'll have to copy all this style sheet code, and don't forget the squiggly braces. They will be the end of you, because if you forget them, you're going to end up with errors all over your code, and a coder doesn't like errors. So all this code needs to be copied from GitHub, and you need to create a style sheet. And this code here is HTML code. This will go into a HTML file. So you will create 2 files for each project minimally. Okay, for those of you who want a better grade, you may have multiple pages on your website. But especially at the beginning of the year, you're going to start with real basic web pages. Now, how do you copy the code? You highlight it. So you highlight it, you right mouse click, and you can go to copy. Now, where do you put it? Well, you need to basically start creating folders. So you're going to open up the File Explorer on your Windows computer. Interesting. And what we want you all to do to keep your code separate in your class from the other class is you're going to go to this PC on your File Explorer. You'll notice you have a C drive. You're going to click the C drive. You're going to look for a folder called Sites. That's where all your websites will be located. Under Sites, you want to create a folder based on whether you're AM or PM. So if you are in the AM class, create a folder on your local drive called CSD25AM. If you're in the PM class, create a folder under Sites called CSD25. Now 25 is the year that it's at the end of the year, and you're going to put PM. So if you're in the AM class, you're going to create the folder and then go into the folder, and you're going to create another folder underneath that for each of your projects. Your personal project, you'll want to name personal project or whatever you want. But for the portfolio project, name it portfolio. So create a folder. Now, if you don't know how to create folders, when you're inside the folder where you want to create it, you right mouse click and you go to New and you go to Folder, and it's going to allow you to create the new folder. So one of your projects is going to be a business project. So I'm going to call it BUS Business and enter it. Now, I recommend that you name the folder here under your class the same as the project that you're building. That way you know how to get back to it. So in the portfolio folder, I'm going to double click in there. What you need to do is, I recommend that you name your file portfolio.html, but you are in the portfolio folder. So the convention normally, and we're going to rename this, the convention is to create a file called index.html. And when I say that's the convention, you'll notice I'm going to rename it. The convention is normally lowercase, so index.html. So in each one of your folders, portfolio, business, each of your project folders, you want an index.html. The convention is lowercase. Don't do camel case. And you'll notice that there's a style.css, because remember, in the project, you've got, even though it's in one file here, you've got HTML code. You're going to copy that code, and you're going to put that into a file called index.html. Now, how do you create a file once you're here? Well, there's a very simple way, and in the next video, we're going to show you Visual Studio Code that'll replace this. But you can right mouse click inside the folder and go to New, and you can select what's called a text document. That's going to open up, that's going to create a text document. Now, I've already created the two files, but you would create a text document called index.html or style.css. So in this case, I'm going to call this one page2.html and make sure to delete the .txt. That will be your downfall. So if your website has multiple pages, so you have a link on your main page to another page that has a bunch of pictures of you skiing in the Alps in Switzerland, then you're going to want to create a page 2 or page 3 or page 4 for your website. And you do it the same way. You right mouse click in the folder, you go to New, you go to Text Document, and then you give it a name, but make sure it's .html if it's a web page. If it's a style sheet, then you're going to put in style.css. Now, once you create it, how do you actually copy and paste your code in? Well, it's very simple. You right mouse click and you can do open with, and you want to open with, in the future, you're going to open with Visual Studio Code. But to stay simple, you can open with Notepad. Notepad doesn't even appear, but I'm going to select Notepad. I'm not going to say always because I really want HTML to open up in Visual Studio Code in the future. So this is going to pop that up, and then I'm going to go ahead and I pasted the code from GitHub. Okay. Now to open up the style sheet, you can do the same way. You can right mouse click, open with, and notice Notepad doesn't appear because it's a style sheet. It really wants you to use Visual Studio Code. But I'm going to go ahead right now and choose Notepad, double click, and notice the style sheet doesn't have any code. I haven't pasted it. So I'm going to come down here. By the way, this comment you don't want to include in your style sheet. So you're going to grab all the code all the way down to the end little squiggly brace. I'm going to right mouse click and I'm going to copy. And I'm going to open up Notepad and I'm going to paste the style sheet code in. And double check that you copied and pasted correctly. That will be your downfall in life. Now, Notepad requires you, it's not like Google Documents, to save. You have to hit File, you have to hit Save. On the index.html, File, Save. If you try to close Notepad without saving, it will say, do you want to save, yes or no? But at that point, you now have two files. You've copied it from the project under the links. Now, every one of your projects does have a lesson link that has a GitHub starter code that'll start you out. Okay. Now, the next thing you could do is you could run this, or you could change it. Notice the title says Your Name Portfolio. Well, I'm going to put in my name, Mr. Early, and I'm going to hit File Save. Now, how do I run this? Well, that's the subject of the next video. Okay. IIS, typically, if you're in Notepad and we have IIS installed, and you double click an index HTML file or any HTML file, it will usually attempt to bring it up in a browser, but you'll notice it doesn't here because HTML has been associated to Visual Studio Code. So it doesn't allow you to view it. Now, Visual Studio Code does allow you to view websites, but in the next video, we're going to show you basically how to now view your web pages in, on your computer. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and close it down. You will notice one more thing before I exit, that remember, as I said, you need to build the on the projects, you need to build them, let your teacher know they need to come by and grade it, or your teacher may have you present it to the class and grade you at the class. After your teacher gets the grade, the teacher will go in and enter the grade for each of these portfolios and it'll mark it done. Okay? That's it for Personal Portfolio Intro 3, and we'll see you in the next video.